So one of the most common questions that wholesalers have is, how can I flip a house if it has a mortgage? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna break it down for you, coming up. Hi, it's Jerry Norton, and yes, you most definitely can flip a house that has an existing mortgage. Now, the fact that this is even a question tells me that people don't quite understand how liens on title work. So as I'd like to do on these videos, first I'd like to tackle this from a 40,000 foot up level and make sure that you understand the big picture, and then come down in the weeds and make sure you also have the step-by-step details. But first, if we've never met, I'm Jerry Norton, and this channel is dedicated to helping you make money right now in real estate, not later in 10 or 20 years or even 3 to 5 years, but right now, so that you can achieve true financial freedom and live your dream life. Consider subscribing to my channel and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. So first, let's talk about title. When someone buys a property, they receive a deed to the title. This deed is recorded at the county level, and it gives notice to the world who the new owner of the property is. Title can be in the name of an individual or an entity like an LLC or a trust. Chain of title is a history of how the property is transferred from owner to owner since the existence of the property. This is important to make sure that the property has been properly conveyed from one owner to the next. Now I'll explain why that is so critical in a minute, so stay with me. A lien is a recorded notice attached to the property that a creditor is owed money. This could be a mortgage lien from a lender. It could be a mechanic's lien from a contractor claiming they didn't get paid. It could be a court-appointed judgment. It could be for unpaid water or sewer, or for back taxes, or it could be an IRS lien. The purpose of the lien on the property is to prevent the owner of record from selling the property and receiving equity or proceeds from the sale when there is a creditor owed money. We'll come back to this in a minute. It's important to know that there are different levels of deeds to properties. For example, if a buyer purchases a property from a seller and receives a quitclaim deed, that basically means the buyer is accepting title in an as-is condition. So the buyer is accepting title with any and all existing liens or issues. So what does that mean? Let's say that you buy a property for $50,000 on a quitclaim deed and it has a mechanic's lien of $10,000. Then you just inherited that lien as the new owner. So if you ever tried to sell the property later, let's say to a new buyer who wanted a free and clear title, you would have to pay the $10,000 lien. A warranty deed, which is the most common, is where a buyer receives title that is free and clear of any existing liens, which again means that no one has a stake or equitable interest in ownership or a claim that money is owed them. So how does a buyer make sure that they are receiving a warranty deed and have a free and clear title? Well, depending on the state you're in, that is where a title escrow or attorney comes in. We'll call them the closing company. They will do a title search to make sure that the chain of title is good and to see if any liens have been recorded against the property. They also assist in the closing transaction, transferring ownership from the seller to the buyer. As long as everything is good, they will provide what's called title insurance to the new owner. This is a one-time payment at closing that is usually paid by the seller unless negotiated differently, that is ensuring free and clear title to the property to the new owner. That means in the future, if someone comes forward claiming an interest in the property or a lien, the insurance will pay the claim. This gives a new buyer peace of mind and assurance that they are not buying a property with issues from the past. So think about it. If a closing company does a title search and finds out there is an issue with the chain of title, meaning ownership wasn't properly transferred from one owner to another sometime in the past, that leaves an open claim that someone could come forward in the future claiming a stake in the property. If that's the case, a title company is not going to issue title insurance unless that issue is resolved following a lengthy process called quieting title, because the title company doesn't want the liability of possibly having to pay that claim. As an investor, that means without a warranty deed and title insurance, no closing and your deal is dead. Likewise, a title company is also not going to issue title insurance and a warranty deed if there are existing liens on the property. All liens will need to be paid off at closing. Now, who pays them off is irrelevant as long as they get paid off. So this brings us finally all the way back to the reason for this video in the first place, which is, can you flip a property that has an existing mortgage? Now that you understand how title and liens work, the answer is of course, yes, you can, as long as the mortgage and any other liens are paid off at closing. Okay, so let's get super granular so that you can see how this could play out on a deal as a wholesaler. Let's say that you have a contract with a seller to buy a property for $100,000 and you assign your contract to a cash buyer for $115,000. That means the seller is going to get $100,000 and you as the wholesaler will get $15,000. Not considering any closing costs, if the seller has a mortgage for $50,000, what would happen? Stop this video and explain it to someone, and if you don't know the answer, go back and rewatch this video. Okay, so here's the answer. The title company will do a title search and see that a lender has a $50,000 mortgage lien recorded against the property. From the $100,000 proceeds going to the seller on the day of closing, the closing company will pay off the $50,000 mortgage lien. So now that lien is paid off and the lien is released. The closing company will issue a new warranty deed and title insurance to your cash buyer, and the seller will receive $50,000, or the difference between $100,000 sale price and the $50,000 owed to the lender. Now that better make sense. If it doesn't, watch this video again. Now let's do a different scenario. Let's say those same figures of $100,000 contract with the seller and $115,000 assignment with your cash buyer. But let's say that the seller has a mortgage lien of $110,000. What happens? Stop this video and see if you can explain it. Okay. The title company will do a title search and see that the lender has a $110,000 mortgage lien recorded against the property, but the seller is only receiving $100,000 from the transaction. That means there is a $10,000 shortage. If the seller is unable or unwilling to come to the table on the day of closing with $10,000 to pay off that balance of the mortgage lien in full, then no deal. Why? You better know the answer, because the title company cannot issue a warranty deed and title insurance unless all liens are paid off. Now remember when I said it doesn't matter who pays off the liens as long as they get paid off? Well, let's say that the seller is unwilling or unable to pay the $10,000 difference. You, as the wholesaler, could offer to pay the $10,000 from your $15,000 wholesale fee, which would mean you would only make $5,000 on the deal instead of $15,000, but at least you got the deal done, and $5,000 is better than zero last time I checked. So here's what's important for you to understand as a wholesaler. Oftentimes, sellers misrepresent liens on the property or are unaware of liens on the property, and there has to be enough equity in the deal to pay off the liens in order for you to have a deal. So here are two important tips for you. Tip number one is that most sellers know they have a mortgage, but often don't know how much is owed, or even if they tell you, never assume it's correct. Once you have a contract with the seller, request they provide you a copy of their latest mortgage statement, but even better is to have them call their lender and ask for a payoff request. This will show exactly what will be owed at closing. Now, a payoff request is common for lenders, and they can usually send one of those right away. That lets you know if there is enough equity for your deal to work, but you still don't know if there are any other liens or messed up chain of title. So tip number two, as soon as you get the contract with the seller, before you've even found your cash buyer, you want to open escrow with a wholesaler-friendly closing company. Watch this video to learn how to find the best closing company for wholesaling. That way, they can start the title search and let you know ASAP if there are any liens or issues. If any of this is confusing or sounds complicated, spend some time and make sure you understand how real estate transactions work. Don't skip out on your Real Estate 101 education. Oh, and before I forget, I'm giving away free copies of my best-selling book, Making Money in Real Estate Without Buying, Fixing, or Managing a Single Property. In this book, I outline exactly how to consistently do multiple deals a month. So if you'd like to get the ebook version of this for free, just click the link in the description. Now, if you found this video helpful, show some love, hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm dedicated to helping you make more money in less time flipping houses so that you can live your dream life. And be sure to watch this next video where I explain how to do a double closing using short-term funding called transactional funding. And remember, it's not about the money, it's about having the time and freedom to have, be, do, and give everything you want in life. That's what this is all about, and I'll see you on the next video.